Okay, so you're ready to discover some really incredible books.
Yeah.
The kind that maybe aren't on all the bestseller lists,
Right.
but they're going to stay with you. They're going to have an impact. And that's what we're looking at today.
Uh-huh.
Hidden literary gems. We've got a great article here all about these underappreciated books.
Oh,
And, maybe you are listening because you're looking for your next reading obsession.
Sure.
Maybe you just want to, learn about something new and expand your literary horizons.
Yeah.
But either way, I think you're really going to like this one.
I think so, too.
So the article we're diving into,
Okay.
it gives some pretty compelling reasons for why you should seek out these hidden gems. And it boils down to 3 reasons.
Okay.
Unique perspectives,
Yeah.
underrated storytelling,
Right.
and a sense of discovery. Let's start with that unique perspective thing.
Okay.
Why do you think that's so important, especially in literature?
Well, when you think about it, mainstream lit, it often reflects, you know, just the dominant narratives and perspectives. But these hidden gems,
Mm-hmm.
they're often written by authors from diverse backgrounds
Mm-hmm.
or people who are challenging conventions. So they can offer these really fresh ways of seeing the world, sometimes radical ways of seeing the world that you might not get in more popular works.
Yeah, it's like opening a window to a different world, a
Exactly.
different way of thinking.
Yeah. And sometimes those unique perspectives are incredibly powerful, even transformative.
Right.
They challenge our assumptions. They can help us empathize with people
Yeah.
and experiences that are different from our own.
So it's not just about finding a good story.
Right.
It's about, expanding our view of the world.
Exactly. Now let's move on to that idea of underrated storytelling.
Okay.
These hidden gems might not have the same marketing muscle as bestsellers,
Right.
but they often have this incredible depth and nuance in the writing. It's really captivating.
It's like watching a flashy blockbuster movie
Right.
versus an indie film that stays with you.
Yes, that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
These authors may not be household names,
Mm-hmm.
but their ability to, weave words into compelling narratives,
Yeah.
it's just brilliant.
Right.
They might focus on character development, beautiful prose,
Yeah.
innovative structure.
Right. Stuff that's not
Yeah, stuff that doesn't always scream for attention,
right.
but it really resonates with readers.
And sometimes those quieter stories are the ones that stick with us the longest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that brings us to that feeling of discovery.
Yeah.
There's just something so thrilling about finding a book that blows you away
Yeah.
and then realizing that not everyone has already read it
Right.
and dissected it.
It's like you've got the secret.
It's like you found a hidden passageway in a vast library of literature.
Yeah. And it makes you feel like you're in this special little club,
Right.
like you're in the know.
Precisely. It's like having this treasure all to yourself.
Yeah.
Now, the article doesn't just tell us why these hidden gems are important.
Right.
It actually gives us 10 books that fit the bill. Are you ready to dive into some specific examples?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready to hear about these treasures.
Okay. The first one
Okay.
is this really fascinating blend of fantasy and emotional depth. It's called The Book of Lost Things by John Connolly.
Ooh. Okay.
So imagine this young boy.
Oh.
He's grappling with the loss of his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finds himself in a world built from these dark fairy tales of his childhood.
That sounds really intriguing.
Yeah.
And I can already see how that kind of touches upon those unique perspectives,
Mm-hmm.
Using fantasy to kind of explore grief and loss.
Exactly. And the way Connolly blends those elements, the grief and the imagination,
Right.
that's what's so captivating. It's not just an escape.
Yeah.
It's a journey into the heart of human experience.
It's almost like he's exploring how we use stories to deal with difficult emotions.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And it highlights how these hidden gems can offer more than just entertainment. They can provide us with these new ways of understanding ourselves and the world around us.
Okay, so we've got this dark, imaginative journey
Yeah.
to start us off. What's next?
Let's shift gears completely
Right.
and go to the English countryside after World War I
Okay.
with A Month in the Country by J.L. Carr.
Okay.
We follow this war veteran.
Mhm.
He's been given this task of restoring a mural in a village church.
Oh, I love that. I love stories set in quaint villages, especially after some kind of trauma.
Yeah, and what I find really intriguing about this book is its beauty.
Yeah.
The prose is exquisite, the tone's meditative.
Okay.
It's a book you savor slowly. It doesn't rely on plot twists or action.
Right.
It's just subtle and evocative.
It sounds like the perfect, antidote to our world.
I think so, too. It reminds us that sometimes those most profound stories
Yeah.
are found in those quiet moments.
Yeah.
The simple acts of living and connecting with the world.
Okay, I'm adding that one to my list. I have a feeling the next one is going to be totally different.
You're absolutely right.
Oh.
Get ready for an adventure with the Longships by Franz G. Bengtson.
Ooh.
It's a Viking saga,
Viking.
overflowing with humor, action, and these larger-than-life characters.
Okay, now we're talking.
Yeah.
I love a good historical adventure.
Yeah.
And that whole Viking era, it's so rich with stories.
What sets this book apart, though, is its wit
Okay.
and its ability to capture the Viking age without romanticizing it.
Yeah.
These are complex characters. Brave, ruthless, loyal, ambitious.
Right.
Caught in a world of constant struggle and change.
It sounds like the kind of book that just takes you to another time and place.
It does. Now, are you ready for something completely different?
Lay it on me. What do you got?
Okay. We're going into magical realism and satire with The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov.
Ooh, I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
It's been on my list forever, but I gotta admit, it intimidates me a little.
Really? Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe just its reputation. What makes it so unique?
Well, imagine this. A satirical take on Soviet Moscow in the 1930s,
Hey.
interwoven with a story about the devil,
Hey.
a talking cat, and a love story that transcends time.
Wow.
It's a wild ride
Yeah.
that blends social commentary, philosophical musings,
Right.
and just sheer literary brilliance.
Yeah, that does sound complex and layered.
It is. Why do you think it's remained a hidden gem for so long?
That is a great question. I don't know. Is it because it's challenging? It's not an easy read?
I think that's part of it. It demands a lot of attention from the reader.
Yeah.
And also, the Soviets tried to suppress it.
Right.
It wasn't published in full until the 1960s.
Wow.
But for those who are willing to delve into its pages,
Yeah.
it's an incredibly rewarding experience.
I'm definitely bumping this one up my list.
Good.
I'm sensing a theme here, though.
With that.
It seems like a lot of these hidden gems, they explore complex themes and they really challenge us as readers.
You're right. That's one of the hallmarks of these books.
Yeah.
They don't shy away from difficult topics or unconventional storytelling. They invite us to think
Right.
in a more nuanced way.
And that's why we need to read them. All right. What's next on this list of treasures?
We're going to delve into a contemporary novel this time
Okay.
that weaves together the past and present, the weight of history, and the search for meaning. It's called The History of Love by Nicole Krauss.
Okay.
So imagine this.
Okay.
An aging Holocaust survivor,
Uh-huh.
a lost manuscript, and a teenage girl searching for answers about her family's past.
Wow. The combination of history
Yeah.
and personal stories and the search for connection, that
Yeah.
was really powerful.
It is. And Krauss's writing is both lyrical and heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
She captures the complexity of human relationships and the ways in which the past can shape our present.
I can tell this one is going to stick with me.
Yeah.
Should I have tissues nearby?
Quite possibly. But it's also a story about hope and resilience.
Okay, so it's got it all.
It does.
No, okay. What else we got?
Let's step back from the hustle and bustle for a minute
Okay.
and escape to a remote Finnish island with The Summer Book by Tove Jansson.
Oh, Tove Jansson. She wrote The Moomins, right?
You got it.
I loved those as a kid.
Yeah.
How's this different?
Well, the Moomins are full of adventure and fantastical creatures,
Right.
but The Summer Book,
Yeah.
it's a much quieter exploration of this bond between a grandmother and granddaughter
Okay.
as they spend the summer on a tiny island. It's about nature, the wisdom that comes with age, and the power of family.
That seems delightful. I love books that capture those special connections and the
Yeah.
beauty of nature.
Yeah.
Perfect for a cozy afternoon.
Exactly. And it ties back to what we were saying about unique perspectives.
You're right.
Jansen gives us this glimpse into a world
Yeah.
that's both familiar
Yeah.
and otherworldly. The island setting, the small community,
Right.
the connection to nature. It's also different from modern life.
Yeah, it's like a window to a simpler way of life. Okay, this one's going on my list.
Okay.
What else have we got? Give me something that will make me think.
Okay, this one is a bit unconventional.
Oh, good.
It's called Geek Love by Catherine Dunn.
Okay.
And it goes into this dark world of a family of carnival performers
Okay.
who breed their children to have deformities
Oh,
and unusual abilities.
that's definitely unique.
Yeah.
It sounds like a pretty bold look at how we see beauty and difference.
Exactly. It's not for the faint of heart,
Yeah.
but it's a powerful look at family dynamics, societal norms,
Mm-hmm.
and the ethics of, messing with nature.
It definitely sounds like a conversation starter.
It is.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What else is on this list?
Let's transition to something completely different.
Okay.
This one's been called one of the most beautifully written novels of the 20th century, Stoner by John Williams.
Stoner. The title doesn't exactly grab you.
I know, right?
What makes this one so special?
Don't let the title fool you.
Oh, okay.
It's a story about an English professor at a Midwestern university.
Okay.
But underneath, it's about love, loss, ambition,
Yeah.
the search for meaning in an ordinary life.
It's like finding the extraordinary within the ordinary.
Exactly.
I like that. What about the writing has gotten it such praise?
Williams's prose is exquisite.
Okay.
It's understated, elegant, and moving.
Mm-hmm.
He has this incredible ability to make you feel
Yeah.
every emotion the main character is going through.
Right.
It just lingers in your mind.
It sounds like the kind of book that you just like savor every word.
Exactly. And it shows the power of that underrated storytelling. It's not flashy or dramatic.
Right.
Its power is in its quiet intensity
Yeah.
and its portrayal of, being human.
Okay, I'm adding Stoner to my list. It sounds like one that'll stay with me.
It will.
What's next?
Let's try science fiction. The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin.
Oh, Ursula K. Le Guin. She's like a legend.
She is.
But I haven't actually read any of her work. What's special about this one?
This book really pushes boundaries.
Yeah.
It takes place on a planet called Winter, where the inhabitants don't have a fixed gender.
Whoa.
They could shift between male and female forms.
Okay.
So Le Guin uses that to explore gender identity, social structures,
Right.
human connection, really profound stuff.
Wow, that does sound groundbreaking, especially today when we're having so many conversations about gender and identity.
Yeah, and it's really a testament to Le Guin's brilliance
Yeah.
that she explores these complex themes in such an accessible way.
Okay, so we got gender and identity on a faraway planet.
Yes.
What's our last hidden gem?
We're going to end with a mystery set in post-war Barcelona.
Ooh.
The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón.
Okay.
Imagine a young boy who discovers a mysterious book in a secret library.
Ooh, a secret library.
And this book changes his life forever.
I love stories that have like mystery, history, and a little touch of magic.
And Zafón is a master of atmosphere and intrigue.
Okay.
This book will take you to the streets of Barcelona,
Yeah.
where there are secrets everywhere.
Right.
And the line between reality and fiction is blurred.
It sounds like a perfect book to just get lost in.
It is.
Okay, so we just covered 10 incredible hidden gems, each offering something unique, great storytelling,
Yeah.
a sense of discovery.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like this is just the beginning.
Oh, it is. These are just a few examples.
Yeah,
The world of hidden gems is vast,
Right.
just waiting to be explored.
absolutely. But before we send our listeners off on their own book hunts,
Yeah.
how do they actually find these hidden treasures? The article gives us some tips, right?
It does. And I think we should go over those.
Yeah,
After all, finding a hidden gem, that's only half the fun.
right?
The real adventure is in the search itself.
Totally agree. So let's dive into these tips and empower our listeners to become like true literary explorers.
Love it.
Okay, what's the first suggestion for finding these books?
The article starts with a classic venture into those independent bookstores.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're often like havens for book lovers.
Right.
And they're curators of those unique and overlooked titles.
Yeah, I love browsing those little independent bookstores.
Me too.
It's just a different vibe,
it's like
it's more like a community.
Yeah.
And the people who work there, they're so passionate about books.
They really are. They're like literary matchmakers,
Yes.
ready to connect you with that perfect read.
Totally. And they often have this really deep knowledge of their inventory,
Mhm.
and they can point you to stuff that you didn't even know you were looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like having a guide through this huge world of literature.
Right. Speaking of personal guides,
Yeah.
the article also talks about, tapping into the wisdom of other readers.
Oh, yeah. It recommends checking out online communities,
Huh.
Forums, blogs, social media groups
Mm-hmm.
dedicated to certain genres or interests.
Yeah. I've actually discovered some of my favorite books through those communities.
Really?
Yeah. It's amazing how, the internet can bring people together and foster a shared passion,
It's like having a built-in book club,
Totally.
always there to offer a new recommendation or
Yeah.
have a discussion.
Yeah, and those discussions can be really great because you can learn about books you wouldn't have found on your own.
Right, and gain new perspective and
Mhm.
even connect with authors.
Yeah, it's like exponentially expanding your literary circle.
Exactly.
So we've got independent bookstores, online communities. What's our next tip?
This one might surprise you. It says to look beyond the big publishers
Okay.
and explore small presses.
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't really thought about that.
Yeah.
What's the advantage of that?
Well, those smaller presses,
Yeah.
they often take risks on authors and stories that the big guys won't.
Right.
They're more likely to publish unique voices,
Mm-hmm.
experimental styles,
Right.
books that challenge those conventions.
So they're kind of like the indie music scene of the book world.
Yes, I love that analogy.
Yeah.
They're often at the forefront of creativity,
Right.
pushing the boundaries.
Yeah. And they probably have closer relationships with their authors.
They do, a more curated approach to publishing.
Yeah, like they're more invested in the book,
Yeah,
not just the sales.
totally.
Okay, so we've got indie bookstores, online communities, small presses.
Mm.
What's our final tip for, budding literary explorers?
This one's a classic. Tap into those librarians.
Oh, yeah, librarians.
They're like walking encyclopedias of book knowledge.
Yeah, they are. Those unsung heroes of the literary world.
And they're passionate about connecting people with the right books.
Yes.
So don't be afraid to ask for recommendations.
Right.
Tell them what you've liked,
Mhm.
what you're interested in,
Yeah,
and they'll be able to guide you.
totally. It's like having a personal shopper for books.
Yes.
And let's be real, who doesn't love a good library?
It's a magical place.
Yeah.
Full of stories waiting to be found.
Okay, so there we have it. 4 tips for finding those hidden literary gems. Explore those independent bookstores, check out some online communities, dive into the world of small presses, and don't forget about those amazing librarians.
They're the best.
They are. As we're talking about these books and how to find them,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about those unique perspectives again.
Okay.
It really is, what makes these books so special, right?
It is. Each book offers a window into a world we might not otherwise see.
Right.
A way of thinking, a set of experiences.
Yeah, like the Book of Lost Things.
Right.
It uses fantasy to explore grief and loss.
Yeah, and Geek Love challenges our ideas about beauty and family.
Right. It pushes those boundaries.
Sure.
And even a month in the country.
Yeah.
It's a quiet exploration of healing,
Mm-hmm.
but it shows how we process those tough experiences
Right.
and find comfort in the world.
Yeah, it's a unique perspective.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about The Master and Margarita, too. It was written in Soviet Russia during a time of censorship. All that.
Right.
Then it has a whole other layer to it.
It does. A lot of these books have like a hidden history
Right.
that makes them even more meaningful.
Yeah, if you know the context of when it was written,
Mm-hmm.
the challenges the author faced,
Yeah.
it adds so much depth.
It's like each book is a puzzle box.
Yeah.
And we're unlocking those pieces.
Right, and that discovery is so rewarding.
It really is.
It's like we've been given a map,
Yeah.
and now we get to go find those literary treasures.
Love that analogy.
But as we're talking, I realize finding them is just the first step.
Oh, what do you mean?
It's what we do with those discoveries that's important, too.
That's true. It's like finding a precious stone.
Yeah.
You could admire it in private,
Mm-hmm.
keep it hidden away,
Right.
but there's something special about sharing that discovery,
Yes.
letting its beauty illuminate the world.
If we find a book that speaks to us, that challenges us,
Yeah.
opens our minds,
Why not share that? Right. Tell your friends, your book club.
leave a review.
Strike up a conversation with someone.
Right, because we're not just sharing a good book.
Mm-hmm.
We're making the literary landscape richer.
We're keeping those stories alive.
Yes. For future generations.
It's so easy to just focus on what's popular,
Right.
what everyone else is reading.
Yeah.
But by choosing these hidden gems,
Yeah.
we're stepping off that path.
Yeah, like we're saying, hey, there's more out there.
Right. It's an act of rebellion.
I love that. A literary rebellion.
Yeah.
It's about reclaiming our reading experience,
Hmm.
trusting our gut, being open to that possibility.
That our next favorite book is out there.
Yeah, just waiting to be discovered.
And maybe, in sharing our discoveries,
Yeah.
we'll inspire others to do the same.
It's like a ripple effect
So we.
of literary exploration.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about the why, the what, the how
We have.
of uncovering these hidden gems.
We've given them the tools
Yes.
to go on their own book hunts.
I'm feeling really inspired
Do.
to dive into some of these.
Yeah, and keep exploring.
There's something magical about finding a book
Yeah.
that can move us, challenge us,
Right.
change how we see things.
It really is like a grand adventure
It is.
with so many treasures waiting to be found.
And anyone can go on this adventure.
Right.
All it takes is a curious mind
Yeah.
and maybe a good cup of tea.
Beautifully said. Before we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
I'm ready.
So I've been thinking about this idea that, we're not just
Yeah.
passively reading these stories.
Right.
We're actually keeping them alive.
That's true.
Yeah.
Every time we pick up a book,
Yeah.
especially one that's been overlooked,
Right.
we're supporting that story,
Mhm.
that author's voice.
Yes. Exactly. It's like we're saying this matters.
Right.
This voice deserves to be heard.
Yeah.
And I think that's really powerful, especially today
Yeah.
when it's so easy to just get caught up
Right.
in what's trending.
And the hype.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that active choice to seek out something different,
Mm-hmm.
it feels really meaningful.
It does. It speaks to that need to connect with stories that resonate, right?
Yeah.
Stories that challenge us, inspire us, or maybe just offer a different view.
Right. It's like we're searching for ourselves in those stories.
Totally.
And sometimes we find those pieces
Mhm.
in unexpected places.
I'm struck by how different all these books we've talked about are.
Yeah.
Fantasy, historical fiction,
Yeah.
magical realism, sci-fi, quiet stories, bold stories.
Yeah.
They all represent something different about the human experience.
Yeah. And that's what's so exciting.
Mm-hmm.
There really is a hidden gem out there
Right.
for everyone,
Right.
waiting to be discovered.
Just waiting to be found.
Yeah. It might challenge you. It might transport you.
It might change you.
Yeah.
Who knows? The key is to keep exploring. Trust your gut.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone,
Absolutely. Pick up a book you wouldn't normally read. Yeah. You never know.
You never know what you might find.
Exactly.
So to our listeners out there,
Yes.
remember that the world of literature is vast,
It is.
full of these hidden gems.
Don't be afraid to get lost.
Yes, get lost.
Stumble upon something unexpected.
Yes,
And then share what you find.
share it with the world. And never underestimate the
Yeah.
power of a good story.
The power of a good story to change us.
Yes. What hidden gem will you uncover?